It's a quiet Tuesday evening. You're settling into your favorite chair, maybe with a cup of tea cooling beside you, and an old record is spinning in the corner. The drums kick in. Just like that, you're 22 again. You know that beat by heart. But here's something you might not have thought about. The man behind that beat, the one who shaped the sound of your youth, was once a heartbeat away from being forgotten. His band had moved on. The phone had stopped ringing. And then he made one decision. One strange, stubborn, sometimes desperate choice that pulled his whole career back from the edge. Talent alone never saved anyone. What saved these men and women was a single bold move when the easy path was to quit. Today I'll walk you through 10 drummers who did exactly that. By the end, you'll see your favorite records in a brand new light.
Relax, said the nightman. We are programmed to receive.
Let's start with Phil Collins. In the mid-70s, Genesis lost their lead singer, Peter Gabriel. The band was wounded. Record labels assumed it was over. Phil could have stayed safely behind the kit and watched the whole thing fold. Instead, he walked to the front of the stage and started singing. He kept drumming too, often switching mid-show. That one decision, to step into a spotlight he never asked for, turned a struggling progressive rock band into one of the biggest acts of the 80s. His debut solo album, Face Value, released in 1981, went to #1 in the United Kingdom and produced In the Air Tonight, a song that remains inescapable more than 4 decades later. And it launched a solo career that filled stadiums on its own. Without that move, most folks today wouldn't know his name. Next is Don Henley.
On a dark desert highway, wind in my hair.
The Eagles were a band of singers, and Don sat behind the drums while Glenn Frey and others took the microphone. He could have stayed there for the rest of his life, but Don pushed, quietly and persistently, to sing lead on songs he believed in.
So I called him the captain. Please bring me my wine.
Songs like Hotel California and Desperado. When the Eagles eventually broke apart in 1980, that decision to insist on being a voice, not just a timekeeper, gave him a solo career that thrived through the 80s and beyond.
Nobody on the road, nobody on the beach. Feel it in.
His 1984 album, Building the Perfect Beast, sold over 5 million copies in the United States alone, driven by the Boys of Summer.
Brown skin shining in the sun. You got your hair combed down.
A song that would have never existed if Don had accepted his place behind the kit. The drummer who refused to stay in the back became one of the most recognizable voices in American rock.
Tiffany twisted. She got the Mercedes-Benz. She got
The third name is Dave Grohl. When Kurt Cobain died in April of 1994, Nirvana was gone, and Dave was suddenly a drummer without a band, mourning a friend, and facing a music world that already had its drummers. He had quietly recorded a tape of his own songs in his spare time. The easy thing would have been to take a high-paying gig with another famous group. Instead, he released that tape under the name Foo Fighters. Played nearly every instrument himself, and slowly built a brand new band from scratch. That one choice, to become a frontman instead of a hired hand, made him one of the few people to lead 2 era-defining bands. Fourth, let's talk about Sheila E. She was an extraordinary percussionist with a long resume, but in the mid-'80s, she made a decision most session players never make. She stepped out from behind the congas and timbales, took center stage with her own album, and toured the world as a band leader. Her 1984 debut, The Glamorous Life, reached the top 5 on the Billboard pop charts and announced her as a solo force who could write, perform, and command a stage on her own terms. Working closely with Prince gave her the platform, but the courage to lead her own show was hers alone. Without that pivot, she would have stayed a respected name among musicians. Instead, she became a household name and proved that a drummer could absolutely command an arena. Number 5 is Ringo Starr.
I thought I'd make it the day you went away.
After the Beatles split in 1970, the world assumed John, Paul, and George would thrive, and Ringo would quietly disappear. The drummer rarely becomes a solo star. Ringo made a simple decision that nobody expected. He called in friends, recorded warm, easygoing solo records, and leaned into being exactly who he was. No more, no less. He had hits in the early 70s that outperformed some of his former bandmates. Photograph, released in 1973, reached number 1 on both sides of the Atlantic and outsold anything John Lennon released that same year.
But that's not something that I'm looking forward to.
Decades later, his all-star band keeps touring, year after year. He chose charm and consistency over reinvention, and it has carried him for over 50 years.
Time I see your face, it reminds me of the places we used.
6th, Lars Ulrich of Metallica. By the late 80s, Metallica was a fast, loud thrash band loved by a fierce but limited crowd. Lars, along with James Hetfield, made a controversial decision around their 1991 self-titled record, often called the Black Album. They slowed the tempos, they simplified, they let the songs breathe. Longtime fans were furious. But that one choice took them from a respected underground act to one of the biggest rock bands on the planet. The Black Album has sold over 30 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling albums in recorded history. Lars bet that the songs mattered more than the speed. He was right. Without that decision, Metallica might still be playing clubs. Number 7 is Stuart Copeland of The Police. When The Police quietly dissolved in the mid-'80s, Stuart could have chased another rock band. Instead, he made an unusual move. He turned to film score. He composed the soundtrack for the 1985 film Rumblefish, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and later scored television series including The Equalizer, building a second reputation entirely separate from his rock career. He took his rhythmic instincts and applied them to a completely different world. That decision kept him creatively alive for decades, while plenty of his peers faded. When The Police eventually reunited for a massive tour in 2007, Stuart returned a richer artist than the one who had left. 8th, Karen Carpenter.
Sweet, but the words have an empty ring, and they don't really mean a thing without
Karen was a gifted drummer who genuinely loved sitting behind the kit. But her brother Richard and the record label made a hard push for her to come forward and sing.
Suddenly appeared every time you want.
Karen resisted at first. Drumming was her home. Eventually, she agreed to step out front, though she often kept a small kit nearby.
Long ago, and oh so.
That decision, painful as it was for her personally, gave the world one of the warmest, most unmistakable voices in popular music.
That is why all the girls in town follow you.
The Carpenters became a defining sound of the 70s. None of it happens if Karen had stayed behind the drums full time.
Talking it over, just the two of us.
Number 9 is Travis Barker.
Watching, waiting, commiserating.
By the early 2000s, Blink-182 had paused, and the pop-punk scene was cooling. Travis could have toured nostalgia circuits and called it a career. Instead, he made a decision few rock drummers ever made. He started collaborating across genres, especially with hip-hop and rap artists. He worked with Eminem, Lil Wayne, and later Machine Gun Kelly. Bringing live drums into a world built on programmed beats and showing producers that organic rhythm could transform a track in ways no software could replicate. That choice introduced him to a whole new generation of fans and kept him relevant for the next 20 years. When Blink reunited, Travis was bigger than ever because he had refused to stand still. And number 10 is Charlie Watts. This one is a quieter story, but it might be the most important. By the mid-'80s, Charlie was in a dark place personally, and the Rolling Stones were a mess of egos. He could have walked away. Mick and Keith were fighting publicly. Instead, Charlie made a decision that sounds simple but is actually rare. He chose to stay, to fix himself privately, and to keep showing up with the same steady, jazz-inflected swing he always brought. That decision held the Stones together through their roughest stretch. Without Charlie's quiet loyalty, there is no second act, no 30 more years of touring, no legacy as we know it. Before I wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these drummers shaped your favorite memories? Was there a song, a tour, a moment when one of them got you through a hard stretch of life?
You must surrender if you can.
Leave it in the comments below. I read them, and so do the other folks in our growing community here.